Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Daniel B. Brewster, United States Senator from Maryland, candidate in the May 19th primary.
We are witnessing a campaign in the Democratic presidential primary in Maryland that is without precedent or parallel. It should not have even taken place. The governor of Alabama has chosen to make Maryland one of the states to test his conception of what constitutes law and order. The governor of Alabama advocates policies opposed to the beliefs of our President Lyndon Johnson. I have entered this primary to give the Democratic voters of Maryland a clear choice to vote either for the forces of anarchy or for the forces of law, order, and decency. Look at what the governor of Alabama really stands for, what he is doing. He's touring the United States in an executive aircraft paid for by the taxpayers of Alabama. He speaks often. I urge you to listen to him. Ask him to tell the truth. He seldom does. My friends, there is a vast difference between what Governor Wallace says and what Governor Wallace does. For instance, he says,
the federal courts have now succeeded in destroying the school system, the public school system of Macon County.
That is what he says. Now let us look at the facts. Here is a photo taken by the United Press International, which shows Governor Wallace barring the school door to small children. Governor Wallace says the United States government closed the schools. The truth is, Wallace closed the schools, and here is the proof. Wallace says, I'm not a racist. Here's the truth. Now let me quote to you from his inauguration address in January of 1963. And I quote him, I say, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. If that is not the speech of a violent and mean man, then I've never heard one. Here is the bombing that snuffed out the lives of 4 little girls while they attended Sunday school and caused thousands of heartaches and tarnished the name of our country. Is this law and order? Do we want this in Maryland? The governor of Alabama is very careful to tell you what he is against, but not what he is for. He is destructive, not responsible, not constructive. The true issue is the dignity of the Democratic Party, support for the President of the United States, and support for the vast number of important issues that face our country, a country that now lives in times of peace and prosperity. I, as a native son, ask you for your vote. You'll not be voting for me as a United States Senator from Maryland, but for what I represent. I am firmly behind the policies of the President of the United States, Lyndon Johnson, and those of the late President John Kennedy. Your vote for me is an endorsement of the policies of the President. We believe, he does and I do, in law and order. We don't want Maryland to be the scene of senseless bombings and riotings. We know that the moment those in authority dare to defy the law, they are preaching mob rule. We are against bombings. We are against rioting. We are against bigotry and hypocrisy. We believe in a square deal for all Americans and in the principles of law, order, and decency. The governor of Alabama is campaigning on a platform of deceit and duplicity and hate. All Democrats have a duty to vote in the presidential primary. You should support the President of the United States and the principles of law, order, and decency.
Vote for Daniel B. Brewster. Vote against bias, bigotry, and intolerance. The foregoing was a paid political announcement. Authority Herbert R. O'Connor, Treasurer.